All right, I'm back with another video, and this time I'm going to when you've reached the crossroads with someone that you like, that you're in a relationship with, or it can even be a friendship. Crossroads can go either way. Um, Relationships is not just people who are dating; it's relationships with friends, with your mom, your dad. How do you know when you reach that crossroads with a certain person? Is it a certain conversation that you end up having that one day to where now you're at a fork in the road and you're trying to figure out, okay, do I continue on with this person or do we just go our separate ways? Maybe it's been a year. I don't know how long it may take for people to reach a certain crossroad with a person that they're trying to decide, okay, do I continue on? Is this person holding me back? Is this person, they could be dealing with a lot of times childhood issues unresolved that they haven't unpacked and dealt with. They need to talk to their mother and father about it. But if they're not trying to address it, or if they don't know how, but still not trying to exactly move forward on it, then those frustrations can get taken out on the other person. And it has nothing to do with that person. It's just this issue is stemming from way before they even met you, before they was old enough to date, or if we're just talking about friendship before you all even met. It's happening in the household with mom and dad, even past relationships, and then it can just show itself one day, and then you wonder why you're into an argument with this person because of something their dad did or something that their mom did, and so you're trying to figure out why this person is coming at me or why is there so much anger built up, and it has nothing to do with you. It's whichever one of you all may have those childhood issues, man or the woman in a relationship, or it could be both of you all. So that makes it an even bigger clash. You got to go work on self first, because then when you get to the crossroads, it almost kind of can be, let's say, well, I don't know if you want to necessarily give ultimatums saying this way or no way. Some people do that and they can go very well or they can go very wrong in terms of, okay, this is where we're at and it's got to be this way. And so now you speaking in that absolute, there is no gray area. So I think you need to be careful with ultimatums when it comes to the crossroads with a person. And that could also mean uh, that it is time to, you go this way and I go that way. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If the same conversation keeps coming up about how a person expects you to feel, or they don't feel you're telling them enough, or expectations, or how do I do this? How do I, because some people are coming to others to try and actually fix them. I mean, you can teach them something, but that fixing part, that's something that's self work, shadow work that they have to do. And, you can answer questions once they bring it up. But ultimately, in order to really fix that issue, you're really going to have to go back and talk to mom and dad, past relationship. If this person is a parent, he needs to go back and talk to mother of his kids, or she needs to go back and talk to the father of her kids. It's a lot of anger that's stemming from that. Some people feel the other parent is struggling for whatever reason, and then they hate the fact that, okay, maybe I'm doing this on my own with the child, and they're at a crossroads with this whole co-parenting thing. And then you're dealing with a parent who, in your eyes, is struggling. Now you're trying to figure out, okay, where to go next with this person. Do you just want full custody of the child? It can lead to a lot of drastic changes, big important decisions that need to be made. And sometimes when you reach the crossroads with a person, you all end up reconnecting, and you're just trying to find the next level to go to so you can grow and balance the both of you all out. Crossroads isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can be a continuation, but it's good once you get there to see, okay, here's where we're at. Do you feel this person is still opening up to you the way you want them to? Or you feel you don't know enough about the person? Or do you feel like it's just, a roller coaster ride and it doesn't feel like a relationship? It's just you all doing some cool things together and then that's it. And then repeat, spend the night with each other and then maybe go out of town. But it's still not a relationship. It's just uh, you cute, I'm cute. This is fun. And so, you can definitely reach crossroads on something like that if it just feels like a loop and you're not really seeing yourself being able to move forward with this person and just going out of town and going out to eat, that's not moving forward. That's just some fun stuff to do, and it's really not relationship. And even that in itself can play itself out. And I think it's something that you'll feel inside, both the man and the woman, if it feels like, okay, this is really going in a direction and where you want to get more invested into the person. And I'm not even talking about investment in terms of marriage or having a child. That stuff, you know, doesn't really solidify anything. People trying to do the co-parenting, marriage right now is broken. So none of that really means, and you should be serious about it if that's the route you want to go into. But even when people get into those situations, and they still having problems. The child can bring even more problems. You have some people who reach a crossroads in their relationship and say, okay, I want to have a baby. I think this will help really move us to the next level. But no, the baby just makes it worse because you all are already dealing with issues. And then again, from that standpoint, it may be time to move on. And there's different things, like if it's continuous frustration when you're around that person. Are they always making you feel like you're being bothered when you're around them? Just sitting next to them just kind of makes you feel like icky. You don't really want to be around them for too long. You need to play some music. You need other people around. And just any little thing they do irritates you. The way they chew their food, that frustrates you. Also, is the trust gone or broken? Trying to find out what they're doing, where they're at, who they're with. You're suspicious. That can stress you out and deal with your inner peace. And that could be a sign at these crossroads where it's time to put an end to things. And sometimes people just grow apart, paths change. And at one point, it may feel like you all are meant to be. And now at this point, you're no longer meant to be. Maybe the grass may be green on the other side. It can be, not necessarily. You have people monkey branching, going from one person to the next, trying to see if this is better. You also got what's called hypergamy, that a lot of women do, where they see a man making more money, so she's looking over the shoulder of the man that she's with and uses hypergamy to, level up and go to the man that's making this amount of money so she can get to the lifestyle that she wants to live with him paying for it. So and maybe that could be the path that's changing, is a cause for you all to end up separating. And then you get to the point where it's just like, okay, you reach your limit, and it's you know, no longer makes sense for you to stay in the situation that you're in. And so people try and put different labels on it, like it's complicated or in an open relationship. I guess those things have different meanings for both the man and woman who are involved, but it's definitely, you're gonna have to dig deeper than that. I mean, I, I think titles can sometimes mess up relationships as well, of what you all are expecting to be or what you think you should be. You got the internet, social media telling men and women how to date and what should be had at this point in time. And so I don't even know how people are out here even building their relationships up. I don't know what they're basing them on. So, that plays a part. But I don't think you should let the internet influence you to 10 signs that he likes her or 10 signs that she likes him. There's so many things that we go through certain types of lists to say, okay, this is where we're supposed to be at, which makes it a relationship. And it's really not one. You're not relating. You're just taking other ideas and saying, okay, this is how um, things should go. This is what makes us a couple. And then people get married and have kids off of that, and just becomes a disaster because it's really not even relating to you. These certain signs that show that a person is into you. I don't think any of those websites are needed. I mean, I just look at them as entertainment. You can read through. It gets a lot of attention, a lot of views because people want to see. Because uh, people get self-conscious in their relationships, and so these type of articles out here just kinds of feeds on that. You're trying to see if this is going in the right direction. If you're seeing these signs, how often you get a text, how often you get a call, and then uh, you have people who are in decent relationships, but then start to doubt themselves with a person that they call themselves liking just off of certain websites that's offering dating advice. Two that come to mind are Madame Noir and Lipstick Alley, and they put a lot of those type of things up there. They have in the past in terms of how to be in a relationship or if the relationship is going in the right direction. And I think in order for it to go in some direction, once you reach these crossroads, YouTube, that man and that woman just have to sit down and just see exactly where they want to go next, what's bothering them at the moment, and again, any unresolved childhood issues as well. Those are very key with your father issues, mother issues, and just them being the first people in your life way before you start dating. In terms of having examples and the whole two-parent household thing. Uh, some people just come from one-parent household and they say two is better. It's not to say that you can't have a healthy relationship with someone just because you only grew up with one parent. But society says two is ideal. Have dad there, have mom there, and I understand that. That's how I would want it to be. And so once you hit these crossroads in your relationship, that's something to really talk to the person you're with about and how that may have affected them if they didn't have both parents in the home, or if they did and they're still having these issues. You also have parents that were there physically, but still, I've talked to people who just said they weren't taught anything by their mom or their dad. Didn't receive the type of love that they wanted, and they had both parents there under the same roof, but they were there physically, like I said, but still missing the intangibles. You know, just putting their arm around their child, having a talk instead of just okay, you got food and clothes. That's it. You know, there's a certain love point that's missing there, and those people grow up and they really just don't have that type of encouragement that they needed, and it doesn't go anywhere. It just keeps building and building. You taking into future relationships with you, and then you have a hard time in these relationships because you still dealing with things that happened when you were 10 or when you were 12, something that mom and dad promised to you, or and that they would never follow through on. And you start to resent that. It's a lot of anger that builds, and you take that Men take that into whatever woman he's meeting now, and he's going out on dates with her. Women take that into a new guy she just met and going on dates with him. And so it always can be a random argument at any point, especially if the person you're with may do something or say something like, "Oh, my mom used to do that," or "My dad used to say that," and that triggers them, and they didn't like it. You didn't know, and so now you're into a argument with this person, but it's not their fault. It's mom and dad's fault from whatever episode was going on in your life at 13 that just kind of triggered that moment while you was around this person you're in a relationship with. And so, being at the crossroads with someone, all of these things need to be addressed. You really need to talk it out and see exactly, okay, so are we going to connect back, or we just going to go our separate ways? What's going to make you happy? What's the healthiest decision? Obviously, you all are parents, that complicates it even more. But yeah, I think people definitely reach crossroads at some point in their lives, once you've been with that person long enough. And it's not a bad thing. Sometimes it is time to say goodbye, and then other times it's, we can still move forward, but now we got a new game plan. And that can be with a person you've been going out on dates with. You reach the crossroads with one of your friends. And you can even reach the crossroad with a cousin or sister or brother, grandparent, uncle, auntie. And if there's been an issue there, but this whole crossroads thing is definitely a turning point, and you got to be ready to, I think, open up. And I know people don't like to reveal stuff too soon, oversharing, and I understand that. But you get to 8 months in, a year and a half, and you can let more out. I think some people overshare to make people try and trust them too soon. It's like, hey, I told you all of this. Now you should just let me in. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. Especially if it's, let's say you bring in a child in from another relationship, and you got to be careful, before you let this other person around them. And just because they sharing so much with you in the beginning, I guess they feel like, okay, I should be able to meet your child and learn all this about you. It's just step by step. A lot of questions that have to be asked. Because even the thing when people overshare, they just mainly talk about their accomplishments, if anything that they're sharing. They graduated from here, and maybe places they've traveled. But those are all characteristics. Remember, we have to pay attention to character. There is a difference. Character is who they are on the inside, and that's going to take time. And as you all move along and you've been together long enough to where you reaching this crossroad path, that's when the character really needs to come out and show and see who's grown. Do you all still feel like you're at square one in the relationship? Try and recognize and just come to you. You have to ask those questions and really try and see yourself. You have to ask those questions and really try and see yourself uh, in that person, since that's why you all attracted each other in the first place. There's a similarity there. You're an aspect of each other. Not 100% mirror, but you definitely are a mirror of each other. The lady is a reflection of the man. Man is a reflection of the woman he's with. So you can never discount that. Never just put that by the wayside. You at the crossroads with this person for a reason, whether you like what you're seeing or not. You don't like, remember, what you're seeing in the person is you, and what they seeing in you is them. And that's the same with your friends as well. And friends are all different aspects of you. That's why you have their number. That's why you're around them. And then your male friends, well, the ladies, he's gonna be similar to whoever it is your boyfriend is, and guys, your lady friends. Uh, Once you get a girlfriend, she's going to be similar to your friends. Uh, Once you get a girlfriend, she's going to be similar to your lady friends. You're not just about to have, Michelle Obama for your lady, and then all of your lady friends are sexy red types. Attraction doesn't work like that. You attracting sexy red types. That's on that guy. Same thing with the ladies, and you want a Russell Wilson, but all of your guy types are like NBA young boy. No, no, no. You will get another NBA young boy. You're not going to get Russell Wilson. And that's how the universe works. Uh, Everybody turns to the opposite sex in your life, who you're not related to. Um, they are going to be similar, the friends and the one that you're dating. They talk about marrying your best friend. Uh, I know people who've done that, but you just got to really, some people don't see themselves marrying any of their, opposite sex friends. It's just like, and it's not even on this type of, without just my friend. I mean, that's how a lot of this stuff starts out, but they're looking for something else that they're not able to attract. Change the view like that and just say, hey, this is what I want, when the inside of you is still, you know, pulling on what's currently around you. So again, it starts with the shadow work, the internal. A lot of people are picking relationships just based on what they've seen, especially going back with mom and dad, and be definitely a negative thing depending on how their parents carry themselves in the household. And so all of this stuff, you have to really examine yourself first, and then go into, okay, where do I want to go next? And so this whole crossroads is definitely, it can be tricky, it can be scary, because sometimes people do reach the point at the crossroads where, yeah, it is time to break up, and uh, that can be sad, that can be tough, hard, and it's just that time. And then you've basically been avoiding it, just trying to go along and get along, but those, it's still going to irritate you. It's still going to be other factors there that you're not going to keep being able to just wear this mask and just be around this person and let everybody else go for that person. You know, you going to want to explore other personalities, and so uh, the longer you avoid crossroads with the person you're with, it can open up to cheating, infidelity, because you're still looking for another aspect of yourself. You don't deal with the crossroads yet with your friends. Uh, that could lead to some type of falling out, especially if you borrow money from your friends or they borrow from you and they still haven't paid you back. Everything that we're involved in comes to a head, and they're gonna have to acknowledge the crossroad and ask yourself, do I stay or do I go? I mean, I'm not saying you all can't still be friends. And for just, if we're just talking about friendship in general, in that case, you probably still can be friends, and maybe the friendships come to an end, and they do end. Friendships end as well, just like being boyfriend, girlfriend. All of this stuff can possibly end, but you'll attract others. We always do. That's how the universe works. But learn the lesson from that friend. Learn the lesson from guys, from your girlfriend. Ladies, learn a lesson from your boyfriend. So when if they end up becoming the ex, okay, now I know how to proceed with the next person that I attract. You don't learn the lesson, you refuse, you don't recognize it. Like I said, relationship is like a school, as Zoe Williams says, and you will repeat. A relationship doesn't push you forward uh, without you not knowing what you need to know. You will sit in the same classroom with a different person, but that person will still be just like the other one, just a different face and a different name. So remember that, and just really be honest with yourself, be honest with that person, and then do you really even want to open up to that person? Do you feel like you've reached that point with them? And if you haven't, then the crossroads may be saying, okay, it's time for you to move somewhere else where you feel better about opening, like that it actually has a point. You might not even be scared to open up. You just don't feel like this is going anywhere with this individual. You're just having fun. So it's no reason to get deep. Uh, some people are out here doing the whole sex, no strings attached, and then that works for them because they're always on the move. And so men and women have to decide where they want to be at that point with the people who they're around. And do you want to get married? Do you want to start a family? Is a child a deal breaker? Can a person have a child when you first meet them, or you want to start from scratch? You don't have any, so they can have any. It's so many different stories out here, especially from the internet. I've heard people say people with no kids should only date people with no kids, and people with kids should only date people with kids. They cut it down the middle there. No stepmoms, no stepdads, none of that being around other people's children, except as a friend. And so I've even seen the video of one woman on another YouTube channel, and she was a mother. She's in her early 30s, but she said the next man she dates, can't have kids. And the host had asked her, he started laughing. How does that work? What type of ultimatum is that when you are already a parent, but he can't be a parent? So many people are chasing the same top 10% of men and women as well. The parents even want the people with no children, and then you got the people with no children that's still looking for the people with no children, just because of the fact, you know, how much kids cost, and people not trying to do the Brady Bunch thing. They already spending so much money on that one child, or even especially if they have more than one, and they're not looking for someone else who's got children that's gonna come into the situation too, which is now more money that has to be spent. And now you got four parents in the situation because they got the other parent of their child. So it can definitely complicate things. The co-parenting, the blended family, and so you can have people instead just trying to gravitate to people who don't have any kids at all, so they don't have any strings attached to them, and then they can build off of that. But for everybody to be going after the same people it's not realistic because there's not enough around. Everybody can't have the same people. And some people probably are out here passing up a person that really likes them because they're chasing someone else that maybe has that lifestyle. So, you have to get who gets you, like the eHarmony advertisements say, and get who gets you. But sometimes people take longer to realize that. Uh, you might not get who gets you until you turn 45. People trying to have things all wrapped up by the time they hit that big 4-0 in terms of marriage, career, family, all of that. The American dream, as they call it, just because they're not still trying to be figuring it out over the age of 40. But remember, the age of 40 is young when you bring the universe into this. That's just like a drop in the bucket. 40 years is nothing to the universe. And so, and remember, everybody's a work in progress. I'm still learning. I say that when I get up. Good morning. I'm still learning, as Neely Fuller would say. And you ever run into somebody who's not learning, you probably want to avoid that person if they say they've learned it all, like, everybody's still a work in progress. You're definitely still learning. And if you reach the crossroads with the person you're with and they feel that they can no longer learn from you, or you feel you can no longer learn from them, then that may be a good sign, a sign, I don't want to call it a good sign, that it's time to go your separate ways as well. That everyone's still learning. And so, the crossroads is definitely a good time once you reach that, everybody reaches that. It's not an easy conversation to have with anybody, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, your own parents. You can reach the crossroads with anyone, especially with a person you call yourself liking, and then see if it's really worth going on, moving forward. And you all let me know in the comments, have you reached crossroads with anyone so far in your life in the past? Are you at the crossroads now? Do you know where you want to go? Do you feel it's worth it? Guys, is she worth it? Ladies, is he worth it? Might be worth it. They might be worth it, just not worth it in terms of for you. I don't want to knock down anybody's value and out here and on the dating scene and how people are looked at. But I guess you want to hear all of these stories in terms of how we should date, and if a person's really into you, you can take all of that and um, eat the meat, spit out the bones, as they say, and then just add it into you know your intentions. You definitely don't want to date off of what people are saying on a website and 10 signs of this, 10 signs of that. Uh, you, you can use those as, I guess, cliff notes, but you have to do your own studying of yourself and of the person you're with in order to really see what's there for you and the direction you should move in. So like, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you're at the crossroads now in the comments. And until the next one, I'm out.